Created by ContentBinger.com. Class Actions Law. Intro and Overview.
Class action law deals with some of the most complex substantive and procedural issues in the United States today. It would surprise many to know that statutory law does not govern class action certification. So are you saying that class action law is made up entirely of court and judge-made rules and is therefore based on common law? That is exactly what I am saying, and it is one of the reasons the law is so far behind society and technology today. As society revolutionized, the common law was ill-equipped to handle the new claims that followed. Common law models of litigation that envision one plaintiff sparring with one defendant were not designed to and cannot cope with harm experienced by huge numbers of geographically dispersed people. The Fed has attempted to codify class action common law, which resulted in FRCP Rule 23, the primary vehicle used to litigate class actions. Under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure, FRCP, Rule 23, courts have broad discretion when choosing to certify a class and use rigorous analysis to determine if a plaintiff can show the ability, or future ability in some cases, to produce a preponderance of evidence which supports a prima facie claim. Certification pleading begins with an adequate class definition and ascertainability of the members of the class. Furthermore, a class must satisfy all four of the requirements under FRCP Rule 23A, which are 1. Numerosity, 2. Commonality, 3. Typicality, and 4. Adequacy. Then, at least one of the requirements spelled out under 23B 1-3 must still be proven. Depending on what 23B 1-3 route is taken to get the class action certified, there may still be many more burdens to prove, such as whether there is predominance, superiority, and others. The first prerequisite to class action certification is providing the court with an adequate class definition, which the Manual for Complex Litigation and the Court in Marcus v. BMW give guidance towards satisfying. Marcus first says that the class definition should coincide with increased administrative efficiency by allowing the court easy identification of class members. In other words, a class must be defined in such a way that the class members will receive the notice required by law and they will not receive the preclusive effect of final judgment by having their rights merged into actions from which they could not receive the benefit of relief or the burden of any loss. To satisfy numerosity, the class must be so numerous that joinder of members is impracticable and the plaintiff must show some evidence or reasonable estimation of the number of purported class members. The majority of courts set forth that numerosity can be inferred by at least 40 members, whereas a minority of courts will not make that presumption. Most courts agree that making common sense assumptions as to the numerosity evidence presented is within their purview. In the majority of courts, questions about geographic dispersion, nature of the claim in terms of type of relief requested, type of damage alleged, and type of breach alleged are not considered in deciding numerosity when the number of class members exceeds 40. Commonality requires the plaintiff show common questions of law or fact among the class. However, all questions of law or fact need not be common. The court in Duke's opined generation of common answers is also a required consideration for commonality, which effectively raised the bar for plaintiffs seeking class certification. In other words, courts consider if one fell swoop can resolve the issues central to the claims. The highly generalized definition of class is a collective group of persons who have common legal rights, referring to the alleged matter at hand, and who suffered damages, often due to the same incident. Typicality requires that the plaintiff, the party's representative of the classes, show they have a claim or defense typical of the claims or defenses of the class. The court looks to the relevant legal theories and factual circumstances of the claims of class representatives, which cannot 1. Be markedly different from class members, 2. Have a unique defense of the named plaintiff which will become a main focus of the litigation. The representative parties must fairly and adequately protect the interests of the class. Courts look at whether the plaintiff is a good fiduciary for the rest of the class and is able to avail the due process rights of the rest of the class. Courts achieve this by uncovering conflicts of interest between named parties and class representatives, which include diverging interests and incentives, or conflicting remedies by analyzing evidence which states the conflicts should not be speculative. Now is a good time to end Part 1, but please continue watching in Part 2 where we will break down the further requirements of class certification. You can find the video on YouTube or on ContentBinger.com.
Thanks for watching. For more content, check out ContentBinger.com.